Most people spend months or even years dating the wrong person because they ask questions that sound good on paper, right? It makes sense in theory that you should be asking these kind of questions. It should be what you should be looking to know, right? That tell you all you need to know, but never reveals who someone truly is, right? That requires a different level of substance. And what happens? These people start convincing themselves, oh, there's some good tricksters out there, and you start, getting mad at the field of men or women you're looking to date or be with, right? You start saying they're all messed up, they're all, evil or whatever, right? Or you start feeling like I can't trust myself in this judgment. So you start getting, suspicious and pessimistic about all men or all women and all the things because you think you're asking all the right stuff, but you're not asking the questions that hits on the mark and gets the answers back that helps you know everything you need to know to make a sound decision up front. So today, I'm going to give you 4 questions that you probably never thought to ask, but if you do, it'll give you immediate clarity on whether someone is actually built to love you the way you need. Keyword need. Or if you're wasting your time and you need to walk away. Think about it. Most people ask the safe questions. What's your favorite hobby? Or what are you looking for in a relationship? They're good questions, things you probably need to and want to know, right? Absolutely need to know what someone's looking for in a relationship, but they don't expose their character, right? Their emotional capacity, what their vision for life is, like where are they trying to take life? Stuff that has way more weight to it, that gives you way more substance and better clarity. You don't need cute conversation fillers, right? That's great for, catching a vibe, right? And having it feel good in that moment. But what you actually need is questions that forces someone to show their substance, right? You need something that's going to make them give you something of depth. So let me get into the 4 questions that'll make the wrong people painfully obvious and the right people stand out like gold. The first question: when was the last time you changed your mind about something important, and what made you change it? Let me tell you why this question is so powerful. Because so many people swear up and down and believe that they're open-minded, right? But this question shows you if they truly or actually evolve, right? Because if someone can't give you a real example of a time where they changed their mind or they made an adjustment on something that they really believed in deeply, right? Or because it was really important, a real heavy thing, and they can't show you where they actually maybe saw a different perspective and were able to shift or go a different direction with it, then they're showing you that they may actually be stuck in ego, right? Stuck in their ego or resistant to growth, even if they don't consciously know that, even if they're not aware of it. Because a lot of people like to think, oh, I have an open mind. But it's like, well, when's the last time you actually shifted directions on something that mattered enough to where it's not easy for you to shift that direction, but you learned enough or you're open enough to a new perspective to where you embrace something different and actually made a shift in your life, mentality wise and in operational wise, behavior wise, to reflect that shift. Now, number 2 is a goodie. What do you think people who've dated you in the past would say you struggled with most in relationships? Now, let me tell you why this question is so amazing. Because it directly, to where they have to face it, it forces self-awareness and accountability, right? So if they can name something, right, that they took away from, what their exes would say about what they struggle with in relationships, they can name something and how they've grown from it, that's maturity. But if they dodge the question entirely, right, trying to change the subject or throw a question back at you or something like that or whatever, or throw and place blame on their exes and it was all them or everyone else but themselves, or they joke it off, try to like downplay it and, make it all fun and bubbly and just to take your mind off of the question itself, then you've got your answer, right? It's screaming to you. They have not done work on themselves to grow past their role in the results they got in their past relationships. Because I always say it, I don't care what dynamic you've been in your relationships. I don't care if you had a partner that was the extremely overtly toxic one and all these different things. you have a role that you played if you were in that dynamic. If you continue to be in it for however long, or heck, even the fact that you were with that person in the first place is a reflection on some maybe missing components to which you hadn't learned on how to vet people better, right? Something in there was a growth piece for you. And if you have nothing to say about how what you struggled with or what your obstacles were in that relationship after going through those things, right? If it's always only your ex, you did no wrong ever, you were just an angel and a perfect person, and all the things, then that individual is screaming to you that when you guys get into a relationship, if you do, they're going to struggle to take accountability with you as well. And when that relationship crashes and burns, they'll be saying the same story to the next person about how it was all your fault as well. And now, number 3, I really like this one. What do you want your love to teach someone about you? Now, let me tell you why this question is so great. Because it reveals to you not just what they're looking to get from love, get from a relationship, but what they're intentional about pouring into love, into the relationship, what they want to bring to the equation. But it's great because it asks this from a more inspirational, uplifting perspective, and not one to where you're like, well, what do you bring to the table? Or, what do you have to offer that makes me or someone want to be with you, right? It doesn't make them feel like they're being in this interrogation or this questionnaire or this interview. It feels more like you're asking for them to represent who they are as a person and get to speak about how wonderful they are, maybe, and what they can bring to an equation that is awesome, right? It's a more constructive and pleasurable and fun and positive way to ask a really important question you need to know. And what it starts to show you is by their answer as to whether they see love as a transaction or as an opportunity to leave their legacy on how they show up in a relationship, which means they have pride in the love they bring to the equation and not more so focused about what they can get from it and how much they give, to not do too much. If you don't do the same amount and all that stuff, to where it becomes this whole game and it starts becoming technical and not actually loving. And question 4 is gold. If I were to fully trust you, what would you need to do to protect that trust? Now, the reason this is so great is because it's not just about cheating or lying or stuff like that, or saying, I just won't do those type of things, right? That's the basics. No, their answer to this question reveals their blueprint to you around loyalty, consistency, and care, right? To where the response you get, if you get one that is thoughtful, right? Something that's thoughtful that makes sense, right? Because people will say a lot of words and stuff, but it still doesn't line up and make sense to you. But they're saying something thoughtful and it actually makes sense to you. It's showing you they have an aptitude to understand the responsibility of love. Now, here's what's great about that. Because that's just them talking the talk, and they might have the understanding, but do they know it in their body? Does the way they live reflect what they say they know, right? What they understand? Because knowing is embodiment. Understanding is comprehension. That's just up in your mind, right? You can very much do the opposite of what you understand, right? But you know it whenever what you do matches what you understand. That's knowing, right? So I'm saying that because the great piece in this is if they give you a more substance-based answer, because you're asking a more substance-based question, before they give you their blueprint for how they operate to protect someone's trust that they have earned, right? Then now you have the blueprint of what you need to look out for and watch and monitor as time goes on to track their consistency and making sure their patterns match their words, right? And notice if they give you substance-based answers and they break down what these things mean to them in their blueprint, then now it's gonna be harder to fake the funk, right? They can't, blow smoke up your butt as easily now. They can't, do all the right stuff for, and put on this front until they flip on you one day, right? Because things that are authentic are really hard to almost impossible to fake. And if you do manage to emulate something that's authentic in your actions, it's gonna be really, really tiring to try to sustain that for a long period of time. And this is something that never should end, right? They should be doing this forever because it's their foundation that they're built on. It's part of their principles and their morals. It's their value system, right? So you should always be looking to make sure that what they say about their blueprint is always in alignment with their actions. And if someone's faking that, I'm telling you, they're gonna get off that train quick with you, because it's gonna be too hard to be with you, because they have to be too real. They have to do too many things that are more authentic things you must do in order to stick around. And someone like that will bail quick if they're not there for genuine reasons. These questions will give you more clarity in one date than months of overanalyzing mixed signals, as long as you are more intentional about asking them, right? And again, by the way, right, it doesn't have to be a super serious way that you ask them either. Yes, you should, make sure that they know that, hey, that's something that you really want to know, but it can be more lighthearted when you say it or what have you. Everything doesn't have to be super serious to make sure the tone means there's intention behind it, right? To get a substance-based answer. So as long as you are asking these with intention, and you're actually reading or really listening to what you're hearing back in return appropriately, I guarantee it's going to save you so much time. Now, for anyone that hasn't gotten it yet, if you want to go deeper with these kind of questions and you haven't gotten my 10 next level questions to ask in the first 30 days of dating to make you so much better at vetting through people or making sense on whether you should keep seeing someone or not, you haven't gotten it yet, either, email or DM me the word questions, or put questions down here below and I'll try to get you the link. Now, because a lot of people reach out trying to get the link from me sometimes, and I have a hard time getting everybody in an efficient timeline. If it's taking me too long to get to you, then just go to my website, losac.com/guides, and you should be able to go put your request in to get that free guide sent to you, right? It's a free guide. There's no cost for this guide, right? Now, if you want help personally learning to cultivate and build your inner skills, your inner work, building you to be able to vet people better on your own, that makes you even better at utilizing these questions, then email or DM me the word coaching and we will get to work, only if you're truly ready to put that work in an actual one-on-one coaching sessions. But if you're not ready for one-on-one coaching, don't have the time, space, and maybe even the finances for it, I get it. Then at the very least, email or DM me the word challenge to take my relationship rulebook challenge mini course to get you started with your framework, to getting airtight on your core values, your standards, your boundaries, and how to set those, and your deal breakers, so you can have a structure that makes you more solid and soundproof to be better at using these questions. And you can learn that at your own pace, on your own time, at a resource level you can afford. But if nothing else, do something to get in the race. Let's get it.